I have no deeper thing to say on the Trump stuff because I don't think it's going to impact him. He was found guilty on all 34 counts. I don't know what that means for him, like mechanically. Let's see if we can understand. He was convicted on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in a case stemming from a payment that silenced a porn star. Like, in terms of its impact on the election, I don't think there's anyone who is like a Trump supporter who's going to be like, oh, well, this changes my mind. Probably affect people on the fence. Possibly. The thing is, I think Trump's appeal originally and especially now doesn't really come from him or his policies or what he says, but more of him symbolizing like a wrecking ball, and that I think people just like that people they don't like him. Do you understand? I think that is, I'm more understanding what his appeal is. I think there is some portion of people who are just like, the system sucks for me. He is not liked by the system. That's why I'm going to vote for him. I'm not going to listen to anything else. Put my fingers in my ears. Surely there is no uncertain voter that will vote for Trump because of this, at least. Maybe. I think like this will be spun both ways. One side will say it as like, now he's 100% convicted felon, can't be president, don't vote for him. And one side will be like, wow, this is just proof more positive that like the system is conspiring to take him down. Like in a different era, this would be such a big deal, but it's just, we're such in a weird time. It's tough to see him becoming a felon, getting him new voters. Could happen. Donald Trump committing crimes in the most provable way possible is proof the system is rigged. It's funny because if you ask someone who believes this, I think if they're a reasonable person, they still will admit deep down, like, yeah, he did do this, right? He did probably spend money to hush money a porn star. I don't like, I think they'll say it doesn't matter, or they'll say it, but like he, realistically, he did do this. Like, doesn't it seem like we're moving towards the extreme end of left? I think you will 100% find agreement across the whole country, outside of like the most polarized parts, that this is a bad choice election. I feel like that is a very broadly held opinion, that it is like people didn't even really like it in 2020 and they really don't like it now. I think there's a real rancid stink of bubbling anger about these being the only choices and we'll have to make them. They were already old, now they're older. We didn't like it in 16 either. I mean, yeah, even in 16, for a while, it just feels like these have been bad options. Don't forget clinically insane RFK Jr. It's funny you're saying that like people say that as a joke, but he literally has diagnosed brain worms that have eaten part of his brain and he's pulling at like 15% or something. What a triple threat of candidates, dude. I always vote for the candidate with the most brain worms, so it's going to be a tough choice. People say Biden is too old, but he's got to be an absolute rizzler to pull Jill, and he's got my vote because of that. You are voting Joe Biden because of his riz. He hasn't really leaned into that for his campaign, and maybe he should because his poll numbers aren't great. He should lean into the Jill Biden is a baddie, and I'm a zaddy type. Bro, Trump bagged a porn star? True. There's a lot of money involved, as we are finding out. Is there any actual Republicans or are you just unlucky? I do think part of the reason is that polarization is incentivized, as in you are rewarded for just speaking to your base. And in fact, I was reading an interesting piece on this. It was looking at the effects of doing something that made the other party hate you. And it turns out that like, if you do something that gets the other party to condemn you, it improves your polling with your own party. So like, if you're a Democrat that does something that gets all the Republicans to shit on you, all it does is get you publicity and convinces people, oh, if they hate him, they must be good. That's a good thing. Same thing for Republicans. If you do something that gets the Democrats to hate you, it's like, oh, this person's hated by Democrats. Their polls go up. So politicians are incentivized to never, ever, ever like extend the olive branch, collaborate, try to like find common ground. Instead, they should like hold their ground, talk shit, make enemies, because it makes them more popular with their own party and they rise relative power, which is like not a good system for getting something figured out. No bad press. I mean, there is bad press, but more like it's depending on who the bad press is from. If the bad press is from a source that people think is evil or bad or other side, then it's actually good press. Are you guys in the USA surprised you don't have like The Rock or Mr. Beast running? Oh, we will. The Rock has already talked about how people have approached him with a very serious plan for him to run for president, and he turned it down. The Rock was approached by a credible, well-funded political party to like try and get him as a candidate because he would be popular among both. And then Mr. Beast is way underaged for it. Mark Cuban might run. If the Mavs win, Mark Cuban runs for sure. The parties aren't even the same anymore. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a cool polarization graph where it's like, it's almost purple back in like the 60s, 70s. It's like bills that both parties voted on or whatever, and it's like all together, and then it's slowly gotten more and more separated into blue and red over the years. And now they don't collaborate, and they're not rewarded for collaborating. Can we get a Drake versus Kendrick presidential race and the debates are replaced with diss tracks? I feel like Drake is a Canadian citizen and has already lost the diss battle, so this would be a pretty rough election. We could colonize Canada first, I guess. Beast Cuban versus Swift Rock. That is good. That'll cause a civil war. That's a title match for sure. That's a title match. You can't elect a man named Cuban as the president. Okay, that's a new level of xenophobia. They can't even be named Cuban. If the Union and the Confederacy run it back, what side are you choosing? You know, one of them was notoriously extremely pro-slavery. Does that factor in at all to your choice? It was about states' rights. States' rights to what is the follow-up question. What particular state right were they so concerned about? To have fun and get money, smoke weed. States' rights to swag out. Hey, Big A, do you feel any culpability in taking away our first Glizmendment rights Glizmendment rights have been taken away? That is not even a complete sentence. This is gibberish. I could take out Glizmendment and it still makes no fucking sense. Yeah, I'm just reading people's reactions to this, and it doesn't look like it's going to... The only thing Trump is guilty of is making America great again. Aaron Mendola, Austin, Texas. How do you think the market will react to Trump's giving authority? I don't think it's going to do much at all. I mean, I don't know exactly how it all plays out, but I feel like this is not changing anything of the current race. I was reading a very interesting piece today about how we've never had a stock go on a run like Nvidia's at the highest end of the market and not have other stocks follow suit. But right now it's kind of like Nvidia and the S&P were going in sync, and then now it's a split. I don't know. It's like Nvidia's the last one still pushing. I did sell today. I had a market. I think I sold at 1150. I'm out, ladies and gentlemen. I am out of Nvidia at 1150. All of it, I kept like a tiny bit. It's just like a memorial token, but I'm out. So, you know, good day for me. Good day for my tax guy. End of an era. I think it still has some room to run. They're going to have the split, but I feel more comfortable now. I feel happy with the gain I got, and now I don't have to worry about it because I did watch it. I was watching it, you know, every day, stressing about whether or not, and then it hit my trigger point. So fuck it, I'm out. If it's good enough to screenshot, it's good to sell, and it's been good enough to sell for a while. So I said it as a joke. I was like, if it passes Apple, that'll be so crazy I have to sell, and then it did. Although it immediately gave up those gains. I'm glad I had the limit order set because it dropped a few percent today, but it could double tomorrow. We have no I can't double tomorrow, but it can. What's the capital gains tax rate? 15% if you hold it for a year, which I have over a year for all of the shares I sold.